thanks for stopping back by. It's been a little while since I uploaded anything. Had some stuff going on, but I'm gonna try to get back at it here. So this piece, this tree came down during Hurricane Milton here in the Tampa, Florida area. Unfortunately, it was at the end of our rainy season. You know, in October, it's the worst time to fell a tree, to cut a tree down, because they're so full of water. I recently did a maple, big red maple log. When I cut it, literally water was running across my shop floor. Like, you know, they can hold a lot of water. So anyway, but this thing's been drying out for quite a while now. It's super dry. But since it was so full of water when it was when it came down, there is a lot of, I mean, it's not punky. There's just a lot of open pores going on in this tree. This is some type of maple, I'm not sure. Very spalted. I let it sit next to my house for like a year, just on the ground, you know, to let the spalting happen. But since it was so full of water when it came down, it's very open pored in areas. So I mean, we got 5.5 inches that way. Over here, yeah, like 4 3/4. So whatever we're gonna get, it's gonna be probably 4 inches high. I'm thinking 4 inches high when it's all said and done. Probably less than that, you know. By the time you do whatever detail on the top, whatever you're gonna do on the bottom, it's gonna be. I'd be lucky to get 4 inches, probably 3 3/4. But anyway, wasn't real sure what I was gonna do with this piece, but I think I'm gonna do a Hollowform, only because this is the crotch grain right here. See a little bit of feathering. It's hard to tell because of all the spalting. You can tell the direction. There was a branch going out that way, and there was a branch curving going out that way. So this is the facing upward. This is the fork of the tree right here. And this is what a wood turner looks for. You know, crotch sections. You can see the grain gets real interesting. So because of that, now I'm kind of stuck with well, I thought I was stuck at first. I was going to make a bowl, but I was like, well, that would have to be the bottom to capture this kind of grain in here. But if I do a Hollowform, if I make this the top, let me zoom you in a little bit here. Alright, it's a little better. So you can see the crotch area, the fork of the tree, right? So I want to capture that. First I was thinking it'd have to be the bottom, but oh no, not if I do a Hollowform. I turn it this way. Now my foot would be down here somewhere. It would gradually slope up like this and then enclose kind of shallow like at the top with a small opening. That would be able to showcase all of this grain on the top of the piece, therefore kind of showing it off even better, right? And more of it. And it's very, again, I don't want to call it punky, but I'm definitely gonna have to, you know, get creative and work with this wood. CA glue, epoxy, something's gonna, you know, wood hardener, something's got to go down as I work through this piece. Nice cracks right there. So I think what I'm gonna do, get this thing mounted up with a worm screw. That way I can have a small footprint. It gives me more options for the opening of this thing. So let's see what we got here. So all of this is thought through, you know, somewhat before I get started. I knew I was going to do a worm screw, so I've already sized this up. See how you can tell that's how deep I want to go because of the type of screw I'm going to use. Alright, I'm going to try something. Not sure if anyone else is doing this out there, but I'll bring you right back. Alright, so here's where, I'm not sure if I'm a little kooky or not, but I tried this on this epoxy project with a worm screw, epoxy and worm screw. Usually I would never recommend that, but I tried this and it worked out fabulous. So I'm going to try it again. Check it out, hot glue down in there. The only reason I'm doing this, and not much, man, just a little bit. The only reason I'm doing this is because of how, you know, again, I don't want to say punky, but it's a lot of open pores going on in here. So what I need to do here, so worked out pretty nice, pretty nice. So I'm going to leave that. That hot glue is going to set up in there. And hopefully it gives me a better bite. And trust me, I can get it off no problem at the end of this. I can twist it right off. But I think this is going to be the safest and most efficient way. I got to get rid of some material. There's a chainsaw cut right here I got to take out, but it's not going to affect my design. Is like this will be the bottom. I want it to flare up and then kind of steeply come in like this at the top. Stay tuned. So check it out. I mean, this thing's pinched between centers now. It's on the worm screw on this side. This is nicely dug in, you know, like a 1/2 inch. So this baby will not be going anywhere, you know. I should be able to spin it up until I find balance. Let's try that. That's right at 400. It's not too bad to start off till I get some of these corners out of the way. So also I want to give you all a shot of this. Like you can use your tool rest as a form of protection, you know. Like when I spun this thing up, I had this, you know, I'm standing off to the side, of course, but then I also have this to help a little bit. It could deflect something, right? When I'm spinning this bad boy up. Yeah, I'm kind of standing behind this a little bit, just in case this thing flew apart. It's not going to. But you know, there could be cracks inside a piece that you don't know about, like this chainsaw cut. Like I know this thing's pretty solid here. But there could be stuff going on where this whole thing just explodes and kind of goes everywhere. So, gotta be a little cautious. Right. So, about to just get down and dirty and see what this is going to be all about here. I'm going to experiment around with different tools, starting off with a square carbide right here. Spinning 420 RPMs. And no, that was not done on purpose. I spin it up till I start to feel a balance, a vibration, and then I just hold off right there. Let's see what's inside this piece. So she's pretty rough looking, like I say, man. Open pores for days. I have plans for that. I'm gonna sand it up. Probably gonna do an epoxy coat or something. So I did leave a little bit of that bark inclusion. Felt like I owed it to this piece to leave that there after all that fighting going on. So this is the whole point of this open form, or I'm sorry, hollow form. I mean, that's why, right? Look at that. So I'm going to capture the beauty of this spalting and the three-dimensional aspects of like a solid chunk of wood like this as the Hollowform. You know, I'm going to hollow out the inside, make a bud vase or something like this. I like that I left a little bark inclusion. Alright, so now I'm going to work on this little foot thing. I'm going to do a whole bunch of sanding. We're probably going to put an epoxy coat on the top of this before we call it a night. What I'm doing here is setting it up. Like just now, I decided I'm going to go with a glue block right here instead of a tenon or a mortise or anything else. Glue block. That way I can take it off and on the lathe multiple times during the finishing process while that's attached to the glue block. Show you an example. You know, like that one. In fact, I'll probably use this one. I can take it off and on the lathe. Whether I do an epoxy coat, probably what's going to happen here. Take it into a clean room, you know, or put it inside of a box so it don't collect dust and stuff like that overnight, and then put it back on the lathe the next day. Turn it true, sand it, all that mess. In fact, that's what I'm about to do right now. While I have it right here, I'm gonna straighten out this little thing on the top, and I'm actually gonna do quite a bit of sanding right now before I even flip it around. Even though this is not 100% final form, let me work on that. Had ordered a new Laguna tool rest. This one got bent all to hell during a lot of roughing out some huge 17, 16-inch beasts. I tell you, just not used to these hard mandrels. So I think at this point, I'm just going to kind of run through some grits, you know. That was 80. I'm going to go through 150. I'm going to start hand sanding, kind of holding it with my hand so I can feel. There's a couple of areas that I want to flatten out. I just can't feel that with the power sander. So I'm going to do a bunch of forward and reverse. I'm not going to go too far, to be honest, maybe 220. And then I'm going to put some kind of something on here, wood hardener, epoxy, something. Sanding sealer possibly first, and then epoxy. I'm not real sure. Alright, I'm going to have my mask on, the fan going, so I'm not going to talk too much. You're welcome. So I just noticed something that's going to make me change my approach yet again, but this is what it's all about. So there was some tension built up in this wood for sure, because all of a sudden I got a wobble like right here as I'm spinning it. It's like, what the heck, it wasn't there a second ago, right? So that just means as I shaped this, you know, as this thing dried, everything compressed in certain areas, and you know, as you turn a piece of wood that's dry like this, it's going to release that tension. And I think that was what happened. I actually had to get my tool back on it right here. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to sand it a bit more on the outside. Probably going to put some sanding sealer just to sort of stabilize this, right? I mean, there's cracks, voids, there's a lot of stuff going on, but I think I'm going to put some sanding sealer on this to stabilize it. And then when I flip it around, hollow it out, if any more tension is released and I get a wobble, I'll do one last true up and one last sand and one finish inside and out all at the same time. So that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna sand. I'll go to 220, and then I'm gonna put some sanding sealer on her. Also, there's like chainsaw marks on this side. So I think where I put this little detail for a lip right there, I don't know if you guys can see that. There's a little, I think I'm going to leave the chainsaw marks on the top. It's kind of cool looking. And then hollow inside that. It's going to be cool. Alright, I still have I took my mask off, I still have my fan blowing on me though. Going on with this sanding sealers, Mylan's sanding sealer. This stuff does have a bit of a strong vapor to it. But it's going to seal this bad boy up, protect the outside until we hollow out the inside, and then all kinds of options will be available to us. Again, probably going with this epoxy coat at the end to fill in these cracks and voids and stuff. Well, let's see what this looks like. That's crazy. I'm gonna work my way around here. The way I do this is the long, slow, painful way. But guys, I like doing it like this. I massage it into the wood, pushing it in there. And this whole thing is an intimate process. And this is a part of that intimacy. See, I've become familiar with every square inch, every square millimeter of these pieces that I'm working with. I'm loving that compression. Looks like some compression grain or something there. Just loving what I'm seeing here. This log came from my friend's neighbor. Came down during Hurricane Milton. I'm pretty sure it was Milton. We had two back to back right there. Like I say, I left it out on the ground so it could spalt and get contact with lots of fungus and certain things wood needs to get the spalting lines in there. For about a year, a little over a year, it sat out there. Then I brought it in, started processing it. I've done a couple of pieces with it. If you want to check out my other video, Spalted Special. More of a vase. Oh, cool. Come here, check this out. So this stuff's pretty thirsty. I'm glad I took this step. It's just gonna slow any staining. I mean, I can tell this stuff would have stained so easy. Even putting this sanding sealer on right here, that's kind of like a stain almost. Yeah. That's going to be, I would say, good enough until we flip this bad boy out, get it all hollowed out, flip this bad boy around, get it all hollowed out. Alright, I'm going to hit it with some steel wool just because I can't resist. I want to feel that smoothness. Alright, I'm going to part off the bottom now to make way for the glue block. And since it's still on the screw drive, it shouldn't be like super dangerous like it can be sometimes. Alright, this is what I'm thinking because I've been burned before. So I'm gonna use this. It's like a live center, you know, it can spin. So hopefully this guy not necessary to go all the way in with it. So that's what I'm thinking. So this will keep this perfectly centered. Then I put this bad boy on, right? Everything's gonna be like perfectly centered, right? That's the thought. That nice and hot on there. Alright, it's kind of ridiculous here. Alright, here's my thought. Oh no. Alright, bring it up very quickly. So I'm kind of spinning it and tightening it at the same time. Alright, so I think that's my new setup here for this. When I flip it around and onto a glue block. So now everything's perfectly aligned. So this right here was a good addition. I've had this for a while, I just haven't used it for what it's really made for, I guess. So now your glue block is going to build up. I mean, it's going to be perfectly matched. I mean, that was pretty cool. I'm okay with that. Interesting. Alright. Now this thing's running true.
Yeah, okay. Take the stop block out.
see what we can do here. You never know until you get into it, man. It could be like really sketchy. We'll see. Check this out. There's that hot glue I put in there. Yep, it works, bro. I'm telling you. Alright. Gonna go at it at this direction for a little while. See what I see. Alright, so I came out here last night just to kind of experiment with the sanding to see how difficult it was going to be to sand the inside of this thing. Just because of the contour of these pieces, you know, some can be pretty challenging to sand. And next thing you know, in typical fashion, the sanding went well. So next thing you know, I'm changing grits. I sand all the way through 320. You know, I don't know when to stop is what it is. So I just kept going. Got it all sanded up. That went well. Added these two decorative lines near the rim here. Used tung oil and citrus solvent on the inside and on the outside to let it soak in. This was all last night. Buffed that out. And then overnight, you know, it dried enough to where then I went back with the Mylan's sanding sealer inside. Kind of steel wool
the outside to get everything smooth. And then this morning, next thing you know, I'm spraying lacquer in there. So the point I'm trying to get here is I just love doing this stuff, you know. I really love working on the lathe, making things. And it's kind of sad when you come towards the end of a piece. You know, a piece that you spent so much time on. And like I used the word intimate. I've become intimate with every square, like, centimeter of this piece. And now that it's coming towards the end, I'm kind of sad. This part's cool. I was going to show you. Nice little knot on the inside. I like it. I left it there on purpose. So, once again, I get excessive, you know, tongue oil, sanding sealer, lacquer spray. Freaking guess what? Now, to bring back, now, I'm going to use some Howard's Feeding Wax to try to bring back more of a soft touch. It has wax and orange, you know, wax and orange oil in it. That gives it a nice touch, nice feel. And then I'm going to part it off of here, and we'll call it done at that point. But you know, like I say, it's just kind of sad when you finish a piece, because then it's either going to go to another home, or it's going to find a comfortable spot here at my home and spend the rest of his days. And you know, I always enjoy showing them off to my family and my friends. And I'm looking forward to the next project. I do have a lot of other projects coming up, planned out. So you guys stay tuned for that. Alright, so I'm going to put a very healthy dose of the old Howard's Feeding Wax on here. Let that soak in for about 20 minutes. Then I'll come back, buff that up, and then we'll part this bad boy off, finish up the bottom. Alright, it's been a little over 20 minutes. Just going to go ahead and buff this up with this rag. And then we'll get set up to part this thing off the glue block. Nothing too special about this process. You don't even have to do it like this. You can just wipe it off, you know. And it'll leave behind a waxy finish with the oils penetrating. Like I say, I used like every finish I had on this stupid thing. But sometimes I have an idea of what I want to do from the get-go. And sometimes it just go with the flow, you know. Something, this piece, I didn't know if I wanted a matte finish or a gloss finish, essentially. And so I just experimented around with different things and ended up with what we ended up with. You know what I mean? So that's pretty good. I'm gonna get set up for parting this off here, and I'll be back. One crucial thing I want to do, I just thought of this. I want to make sure I'm in good shape here. So you got about 3 3/4. See, I don't have a whole lot of room to play with. Yeah, I really don't have a lot of room to play with. I'm gonna have to part it off way out here. Ugh. I wish you guys could see this. I'm literally splitting the line of the glue, the hot glue line is right in the middle of my kerf. Because I don't want to come up short and make this thing into a funnel. So I'm really taking a light cut here. Okay, it's not bad. I'll have a good bit of sanding to do, but that's okay. I did not want to make this into a funnel. All right. Hey, there she is, all done. She came out right at like 4.5, 4 3/4 tall. About 9.5 wide at its widest. The opening's just under 4 inches. This was a fun one to make. And I really appreciate all y'all, watching till the end like this. What makes this special is I brought it from a log to this form here. I think it turned out really well. You can see how I kind of get emotionally attached to these things, right? I don't know if you can see, I left the chainsaw marks in the very top of the rim here. Thought that was a nice little touch. The couple of detail lines, the wood was definitely the star of the show here. But I thought these couple of little detail lines would spice things up a little bit, and just the like the overall profile I really like a lot too, though. That's beautiful. All right, well, thanks again for tuning in. Hit the like button for me, it helps out a lot. Share, subscribe, those usual things. I would really appreciate it. I love making these pieces, but I love showing them off more than actually love making them, if that makes sense.
I want other people to enjoy them too. So thanks again. This is my turn, and we'll see you in the next one.